ki Dharam Shrimad Bhagavatam ki So Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 10, text number 46, 47, and 48. I will chant 46 and 47 because there is no purport, and then altogether we'll chant 48. Ya etat punyam akyanam Vishnor viryopabrihmitam Gita yetsha chratyhaya shrutva karma pashayar vimuchyate. Translation. One who hears the enchants this narration about the omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is certainly liberated from material bondage without fail. Etadya adi purushasya mrigendra lilam daityendra yuthapavadham prayata pahteta dityatmajasya satam pravarasya punyam shrutvanubhavam akuto bhayam etilokam. Prahlad Maharaj was the best among exalted devotees. Anyone who with great attention hears this narration concerning the activities of Prahlad Maharaj, the killing of Hiranyakashipu, and the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nrsimhadev, should reach the spiritual world where there is no anxiety. 48. Yoyan riloke batapuri bhaga. Yoyan riloke batapuri bhaga. Yoyan riloke batapuri bhaga. Yoyan riloke batapuri bhaga. Lokam punana munayo bhiyanti. Lokam pana. Lokam punana munayo bhiyanti. Yesham grihan avasatiti sakshat. Yesham grihan avasatiti sakshat. Yesham grihanan avasatiti akshat. Sititi sakshat. Gudham param brahmam manushalingam. Gudham param brahma manushalingam. Gudham param brahma manushalingam. Param brahma manushalingam. Yoyan riloke batapuri bhuvampaga. Niloke batapuri bhaga. Lokam punana munayo biyanti. Lokam punana munayo biyanti. Yesham griha. Avasatiti asakshat. Avasatiti sakshat. Godham param brahma manushalingam. Yoyam Niloke Batapuri Bhaga Lokam Punana Muyayo Bhuyanti Yesham Grinana Avasatiti Sakshat Budham Param Brahma Manushalingam. Any devotee online?
Yuyam Niloke Bataburi Bhaga
Yoyam Niloke Batapuri Bhaga
Lokam Punana Munayo Biyanti
Lokam Punamunayo Bhyanti
Yesham Grahan Avasatiti Sakshad
Yesham Grinan Avasatiti Sakshat
Gudham Baram Brahma Manushyalingam
Udham Param Brahma Manushalingam Yoyam, all of you, the Pandavas, Nriloke, in this material world. Bata, however, Bhuribhaga, extremely fortunate. Lokam, all the planets. Puna, who can purify? Munaya, great saintly person. Abhiyanti, almost always come to visit. Yesham, of whom? Grihan, the house. Avasati, resides in. Iti, thus. Sakshat, directly. Gudham, very confidential. Param, Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Manushalingam, appearing just like a human being. Translation. Narada Muni continued, my dear Maharaj Yudhishthir, all of you, the Pandavas, are extremely fortunate, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, lives in your palace just like a human being. Great saintly persons know this very well, and therefore they constantly visit this house. Purport. After hearing about the activities of Prahlad Maharaj, a pure devotee should be very anxious to follow in his footsteps. But such a devotee may be disappointed, thinking that not every devotee can come to the standard of Prahlad Maharaj. This is the nature of a pure devotee. He always thinks himself to be the lowest, to be incompetent and unqualified. Thus, after hearing the narration of Prahlad Maharaj's activities, Maharaj Yudhishthir, who was on the same standard of devotional service as Prahlad, may have been thinking of his own humble position. Narada Muni, however, could understand Maharaj Yudhishthira's mind, and therefore he immediately encouraged him by saying that the Pandavas were not less fortunate. They were as good as Prahlad Maharaj, because although Lord Nrsimha appeared for Prahlad, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his original form as Krishna, was always living with the Pandavas. Although the Pandavas, because of the influence of Krishna's Yoga Maya, could not think of their fortunate position, every saintly person, including the great sage Narada, could understand it, and therefore they constantly visited Maharaj Yudhishthira. Any pure devotee who is constantly conscious of Krishna is naturally very fortunate. The word nriloke, meaning within the material world, indicates that before the Pandavas there had been many devotees, such as the descendants of the Yadu dynasty and Vashishta, Marichi, Kashyapa, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva, who were all extremely fortunate. The Pandavas, however, were better than all of them because Krishna himself lived with them constantly. Narada Muni, therefore, specifically mentioned that within this material world, Nriloka, the Pandavas were the most fortunate. Yetat punyam akyanam Vishnurviryopabrimihitam kirtaya shraddhaya shrutva karma pashaya vimuchyate. One who hears and chants this narration about the omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of God at Vishnu is certainly liberated from material bondage without fail. Etadya adi purushasya mrikendralilam daityendra yutkhapavadham prayata patheta daityatmajasya satam pravarasya punyam Shrutvanubhavam akuto bhayam etilokam. Prahlad Maharaj was the best among exalted devotees. Anyone who with great attention hears this narration concerning the activities of Prahlad Maharaj, the killing of Hiranyakashipu, and the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nrsimhadev, surely reaches the spiritual world where there is no anxiety. Yoyam Nriloke Bataburi Bhaga Lokam Punana Munayo Biyanti Yesham Grinan Avasatiti Sakshat Gudham Param Brahma Manushya Lingam. Narada Muni continued, my dear Maharaj Yudhishthira, all of you, the Pandavas, are extremely fortunate, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, lives in your palace just like a human being. Great saintly persons know this very well, and therefore they constantly visit this house. Om Agyanatimiranhasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmitamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So today news from Vaikuntha is that someone who is considered as fortunate soul has access to pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As we hear, such person capable to hear narration about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees with whom he has some loving exchanges are extremely purifying to such an extent that this person who listen this narration and talk about the glories of the Supreme Lord and his devotees is qualified to come back home, back to Godhead, to spiritual world. Why is it so? Because transcendental sound vibration, when we glorify the Supreme Lord, either by chanting his holy names, about his glories, his pastimes, his qualities, his exchanges with his pure devotees, and about the pure devotees who glorifying the Supreme Lord are extremely purifying, so powerful that this transcendental sound vibration is able to purify the existence of such fortunate soul and is qualifying this soul to come back home, back to God. It's exactly like devotional service. This glorification of the Supreme Lord and listening about the glorification of Supreme Lord and his pure devotees. It is devotional service. There is, as we remember, there is 9 different types of devotional service. And it starts with Ravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Arsanam, Dasam, etc. So everything starts with Shravanam, listening. If we are able to listen attentively in humble mood, we will be able to purify our consciousness. When consciousness is purified, purified from what? From bodily concept of life, from desires to gratify our senses in selfish way, in separation from the Supreme Lord. Thinking about ourselves that actually I am the enjoyer, I am the controller, I am the proprietor. Everything is meant for my pleasure, my satisfaction. This contamination that we collected in due course of time, wandering through all different species of life, life after life, is unfortunately sticks so tightly to our consciousness, to our heart, to our mind. This is very difficult to get rid of this. Very difficult. We develop in due course of time, transmigrating from one body to another on the basis of karma, these reactions that we created on the basis of our actions, impious behavior and culture. We were so sinful that we were put through this transmigration to different bodies, life after life, just because of our activities, which were meant to gratify our own senses selfishly from in separation from the Supreme Lord. This caused us this suffering. So we developed habit, such strong habit to gratify our senses selfishly that it is nowadays in our present lifetime is so difficult to get rid of this all desires for selfish and sense gratification. And it looks like it seems that the situation is hopeless. It's like hopeless. It's like I remember the example, like I don't know nowadays all these different glues they are called in different way. I remember in my time when I joined Hare Krishna movement, the strongest the glue in Poland at least was Budapest. Even sound of this name look seems like whoa, 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 Budapest. So this Budapest, this glue was so strong that if you touch it, it was difficult to get rid of this. This is like nowadays this gorilla, or what? Super glue, gorilla or whatever it is existing on the market today. So when you touch it, it's very difficult to get rid of this. But coming back to the Budapest, it was not so strong like nowadays. This super glue, this gorilla that you touch, then is very not only very difficult to get rid of this, but it stick to you and it's very difficult to get rid, from the object that you was glued. But Buddha was a little bit different. It was, when you see when you touch it, so then you stick it, but you by the force of your muscles, you are able to maybe, like restrain yourself from to get, like move out. But but this glue, uh, like gum, like chewing gum, was just it was like mm, like um, stretching, but it was so strong that you was not able to handle this, resisting power, and then coming back, and then you was trying to just stretch it to just go away, and then again. So there was the power of this glue. Similarly, the material desires for sense gratification, selfish sense gratification that we develop in the course of transmigrating from one body to another, being in this material world, trying to imitate the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This contamination is so strong. It's like this Buddha or this gorilla super glue that is constantly, with us. So situation looks like hopeless. It's impossible to get rid of this material world, this material existence. No, there is hope. There is chance. What is this? Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. By listening, constant listening, attentive, humble listening about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, His qualities, His pastimes, His loving exchanges with His devotees, and about the glories of His pure devotees, how dedicated they are, how big devotion they manifest in loving exchanges with Krishna, the Supreme Lord, can purify our existence and can mm, like uh, get in get get in reaction with the potency of this glue and can weaken the strength of the super glue, this attachment to selfish gratification, and help us to become free. And perfect example is like my Guru Maharaj always reminding us that activities which are meant to satisfy the Supreme Lord are which are called technically devotional service, are powerful that immediately and automatically elevate us to spiritual platform, transcendental platform, which is not different than the existence of spiritual world. Every one of us has, to a certain extent, experience of the transcendental nature of devotional service. Whatever devotional service we perform, with full attention, with full dedication, full devotion, we really want to satisfy Guru and Krishna by our activities. So then we can see that immediately our consciousness is elevated to higher and higher level, beyond bodily concept of life, that forcing us to identify ourselves with this body and mind. And relieving us or releasing us from the selfish desire for our own sense gratification. When we are focused on gratifying the senses of the Supreme Lord and please our Guru Maharaj, then we are on transcendental platform. We are functioning like in spiritual world. And this activity creates atmosphere of spiritual world. Like everyone can recall this type of situations. Everybody. I am sure 100%. So now I don't know if we have time to share all different examples, what we're talking about. But for the sake of maybe on the end, for the sake of saving time, I will just only share one story. I remember it was in early 80s when Poland was still under the regime of Soviet Union, and but one Polish guy, Lech Wałęsa, he he established solidarity movement to kick out Russians from Poland. So therefore, all Poland was like in like domestic war. So it was like police hours and this many different things like that. So, but still, as a young Bhakta, who recognize philosophy of Krishna consciousness as the most excellent philosophy that is able to explain everything existing in this universe and life of every human being. And lifestyle is just most exciting and had a lot of sense. So therefore, I was so excited that whatever I was requested to do, I was always very enthusiastic. Sure, let me do it. So there was a marathon. It was, I guess, maybe 1980 or 81. I guess maybe 80. So or 81. I don't. Anyway, so it was the December marathon, and we don't have the time Srila Prabhupada's books, in this edition that they are published today, very beautifully, published like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, all this. We just have pamphlets that we printed underground in some illegal way because of course according a, a government that time government policy, foreign religion or something against government policy was prohibited, and if you are there to do something like this, so then for sure it's jail. But as a 20 years old man, I don't care about all these different things. I was just completely absorbed with fascination with devotees, with this philosophy and lifestyle. I don't know who is Krishna, but I hear that Krishna is the supreme personality of God, that He is the source of everything. So therefore, we should dedicate our life to propagate the glories of the Supreme Lord. All right, let's go. So then they were giving to different devotees. There was not so many of us in that time, maybe five in the temple. Maybe in the entire country, maybe six or eight. But anyway, we got these pamphlets, and I have these pamphlets, and I asked this devotee who gave me the bunch of these pamphlets what I should do with this. So he told me, let's go on the street and just distribute this pamphlets to people whom you consider that they are capable to take this and request for donation. But what I should say about, oh, this is about bhakti yoga and the science of self-realization. Uh, those who read uh, and trying to implement this beautiful science and philosophy into their life can become peaceful and blissful. So therefore, take advantage. This is a limited edition. You know, take advantage of this. Get this. All right. So then I just went on the streets, but I was shy. As a 20 years old man, I was walking on the streets. It was cold, and I was really have difficulty to approach. With something that I'm so neophyte. I'm so new. I just only a few weeks in the temple amongst devotees. So I feel completely incompetent, unqualified to say something about this. But anyway, I was I was trying to, in my own way, pray to Krishna. Krishna, you are the supreme controller. You are the source of everything. Please give me some power to to contribute to spread your glories. So then I jumped to one lady. It was, old lady, like grandma, like we call this babushka or something like this. So she was, she looks, very old. She looks like, like my grandma. So I approached to her. Excuse me, lady. I have some wonderful books. Maybe can be for your daughter or your grandchildren. These books are about this, and I explained. And this babushka, this grandma was looking at this pamphlet. It was, I, re- I remember it was like something like from first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, third chapter or something like this. I'm not sure, but somehow I, I, I recalling that it was like one chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Most probably it was the first canto and maybe chapter third. Anyway, so and listening, and she looked at in this pamphlet at me, and she said, "No, no, thank you." But but I made this first step. I felt, like this 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 ice barrier was broken, and somehow something happened that there was courage to go to another babushka, to another grandma. So I approached another grandma, and this with the same mantra I was trying to explain, and then no result, no result, no result. So I was trying to, I was somehow or another, even it was no successful, endeavor. Somehow or another, I was from now, from the perspective of time, when I remember my feeling in my heart and my mind, now I can say something was changing in my consciousness. In that time, I have no clue about what's going on. I just felt that this rejection just made me a little bit, like, mm, uh, not discouraged, but, like frustrated about my inability, my lack of qualifications. I want to become qualified. I want to be good. So therefore, I just want to, I want to try more and more. So now, from the perspective of time, knowing what is going on with devotional service, I can say this humble attempts it was purifying my consciousness and invoking transcendental enthusiasm that was encouraging me to do more and more and more. Then finally, after maybe an hour or so, I start to distribute more books and more books. So to such an extent that I jumped to the intersection, the main intersection in Warsaw, capital of Poland. So it was this intersection is huge, and it was like underground. mm, no metro, but was like, like shopping mall underground, and people can cross the streets, underground, and walking through different shops and this and that. So I decided to go there because, it was very cold, and also was very late. So therefore, for the sake of my health, then I decided to go there and stand there with these books and distribute them. So I was just new Bhakta, but I got this excitement that, I have these books and giving me so much excitement. I never consider myself as a seller to sell something. I was just 20 years old. I don't have any life experience to work. I just finished. I graduate my college, and I have no experience of, how to maintain myself and how to sell and this and that, whatever. But I somehow or another, this little books in my hands are giving me so much excitement that I want to do this. So then I went there, and I was distributing. I was trying to, distribute, and then I saw in distance two policemen are coming my way, and I was thinking, uh-oh, I can be in trouble. So, huh? Ah, yeah, I mentioned in the beginning that, yeah, it was illegal to sell anything on, not only sell, but to distribute anything against, government, communist government policy in that time. So, and these books were about transcendence. They were, uh, they were very foreign to Polish government policy and philosophy of life at that time. So therefore, to the extent I was conscious of this, I was I was a little bit nervous. What will happen with me? I cannot run away because if I will run away, so then this police guys they will run after me. Because in this way I will just show them that I'm doing something illegal, so then they will chase me, and then they will they will arrange some surround like they other police would they would call them. They would make some surrounding, and I will be caught. So then I will be in trouble. I don't want to be like this. So somehow or another, Krishna give me intelligence by maybe being inspired by my 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 humble attempt that just try to approach them in positive way, like I'm not doing anything illegal. So I got an idea. Okay, instead of because I was also you know uh, freshly after my dedication before Krishna consciousness to martial art. So I have this an idea to attack, but to defend by attack. So instead of waiting for attack, you just applying simultaneously defense and attack. So when they were approaching me, so I didn't run away and whatever and defend myself. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just oh. Officers, you are very intelligent persons. I have something special for you. This because New Year is coming. I have very special, things. I'm a student, and I recognize these pamphlets about Bhakti yoga are excellent, informations about science of self-realization. Those who read this achieve, purification of the consciousness, and they can uh, 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 relish peace inside of the mind, and then naturally it can evoke happiness. Everyone want to be happy, isn't it so? And then they look at me, you listening and listening. Yeah, yeah, but thank you. We are on duty. Oh, I'm so sorry, but this is a really, it's a really big occasion. No, thank you. We are on the duty. All right. Okay, no problem. So then they left me, and I was able to continue. And I feel in that time, wow, it was just amazing experience. I was just about to be punished very severely. They can put me in jail if they will take this book and start to read Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Give up of all your material concept of life. Surrender to the Supreme Lord. So that they will be in trouble. They for sure will put me in jail. But somehow or another, Krishna covered them and not allow them to take this book because they were on duty. But my excitement and openness, like convinced them that I have nothing to hide, and I was innocent and was doing nothing illegal. So then, and this way, I survived and was safe. But my feeling was, wow, doing something for Krishna is not only safe, but also so ecstatic. So that I will start to run here and there, wherever, just to get, not only get rid of these books that I still have in my hand, but to distribute to people because Krishna is working, Krishna is there, Krishna is supervising, Krishna is helping. Wow! So therefore, I was running, at midnight to cafes around. On the way, I was coming back to the temple. So on the way, I was giving these books, to a cafe and trying to distribute. And then just like last cafe before the temple, I distributed last book, and I was not only feel such bliss inside of my heart, but the street was empty. I was jumping and dancing on the street. This was ecstasy of performing devotional service. So I have never experienced of doing selling or uh, work like this, you know, but feeling the emotions that the devotional service invoked within me, it was just undescribable. I was not able to even understand what is going on with me. I remember I came back to the temple and then I was first. Nobody was there. So I decided, oh my goodness, I'm, I'm, s- uh, I'm so fallen. I came back. All others are outside. So maybe I should grab some books and run away again for this more distribution. But in that time, when I was in this puzzle, devotees came, the devotees start to come back, and then, oh, okay. So then next, we can do this next day. So all this excitement of devotional service is situating us on transcendental platform mm, of spiritual environment of spiritual world. There's nothing to do with devotional service. Has nothing to do with material existence, with three modes of material nature. It's elevating us beyond, above modes of material nature, the nature of material existence, and helping us to relish, feel transcendental bliss that is coming from Krishna's mercy, from Krishna's lotus feet, as mercy for conditioned soul. So whenever we engage ourselves in loving devotional service, starting from Shravanam, Kirtanam, then is giving us as consequence, giving us Vishnu Smaranam, remembrance of Vishnu, of Krishna. So it's giving us not only the purpose of life, the inner satisfaction, empowerment, but peace of mind and happiness, real happiness, not that some type of superficial pleasure coming from selfish sense gratification, but juicy, transcendental bliss, inner satisfaction, happiness, something like you did something wonderful and you feel such inner satisfaction and happiness. So this can come only from performing devotional service, which we mentioned already a few times, which coming from Shravanam Kirtana. If we hear properly, if we hear properly about Krishna, Krishna's glories, his qualities, activities, pastimes, and as we mentioned, also Krishna's relationship with his loving devotees and their devotional service, like Prahlad Maharaj, completely selfless devotional service. And now I want to read for 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 all of us to remind ourselves how glorious Lord Prahlad Maharaj was in performing his pure devotional service. It's just few mm, texts before. I'm coming back to the beginning of this chapter, of the beginning of chapter 10, where in text number 3, Lord Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj is glorifying the Supreme Lord. Oh, my worshipable Lord, because the seed of lusty desires, which is the root cause of material existence, is within the core of everyone's heart. You have sent me to this material world to exhibit the symptoms of a pure devotee. Purport. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu has given considerable discussion about Nitya Siddha and Sadhana Siddha devotees. Nitya Siddha devotees come from Vaikunta to this material world to teach by their personal example how to become a devotee. The living entities in this material world can take lessons from such Nitya Siddha devotees and thus become inclined to return home back to Godhead. And Nityasiddha devotee comes from Vaikunta upon the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and shows by his example how to become a pure devotee, Anyavilta Shunyam. In spite of coming to this material world, the Nitya Siddha devotee is never attracted by the allurements of material enjoyment. A perfect example is Prahlad Maharaj, who was a Nitya Siddha, a Maha Bhagavat devotee. Although Prahlad was born in the family of Hiranyakashipu, an atheist, he was never attached to any kind of materialistic enjoyment. Designed to exhibit the symptoms of a pure devotee, the Lord tried to induce Prahlad Maharaj to take material benedictions, but Prahlad Maharaj did not accept them. On the contrary, by his personal example, he showed the symptoms of a pure devotee. In other words, the Lord himself has no desire to send his pure devotee to this material world, nor does a devotee have any material purpose in coming. When the Lord himself appears as an incarnation within this material world, he is not allured by the material atmosphere, and he has nothing to do with material activity. Yet, by his example, he teaches the common man how to become a devotee. Similarly, a devotee who comes here in accordance with the order of the Supreme Lord shows by his personal behavior how to become a pure devotee. A pure devotee, therefore, is a practical example for all living entities, including Lord Brahma. And it's very similar, like in text today, uh, where Srila Prabhupada, on the very beginning of his purport, mentioned, after hearing about the activities of Prahlad Maharaj, a pure devotee should be very anxious to follow in his footsteps. So this um, inspiring me to mention about such a pure devotee who follows the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj, namely my Guru Maharaj. As every one of you know, he doesn't look like Slavic, like from Europe person, external. He's completely transcendental. When when Srila Prabhupada left this planet in 1977, he has so such strong desire to spread Krishna's glories. I asked him, Gurumdev, why you choose, communistic country, Poland? Why you choose this huge challenge? You can not only be in prison, but you can be killed. Why you choose? Because I hear that this can satisfy Srila Prabhupada, and I want to satisfy Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, it doesn't matter, for me, what the consequences can be. I just want to satisfy Srila Prabhupada. So, Srila Prabhupada mentioned, if someone is preaching to people in communist country, helping them to become liberated souls, this this service is the most pleasing to me. So therefore, he just took this challenging service, and he came to Poland in late 70s. And together with other devotee, he was coming and smuggling the uh, Srila Prabhupada books to the border in a very clever way, and and giving us these books to distribute. And he was coming undercover. You remember when I was in Yushantipur with that newly established farm. He was coming at night, covered with this huge this hood, when we were looking through the window, it was I saw no one in the car except a driver. But when all lights were turned off, so all of a sudden I noticed there is some person inside emerging and running very quickly to the entrance door, and then appeared this glowing Vaishnav who was giving such ecstatic classes and kirtans that melted my heart. And I was, of course, later on giving some personal trainings how to give up selfish desires and dedicate selfishly to the service of the Supreme Lord. So this was my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Divine Swami, who was following the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj. Regardless difficulties, challenges, and dangers, he was coming to spread Krishna's glories to the conditioned souls. And that's why I am able to be here and glorify Krishna because of my Guru Maharaj. Yeah. Are there any questions or comments? What? Ready. Good. If you have a question, we have 1 minute.
Okay, so my question is, thank you so much for such an extended class. And you share this story how you get this initial taste and Krishna's mercy when you were just very flood. So what's the reason for Krishna giving and the initial taste and later on since we have to work so hard to get it?
So why is Krishna giving this initial taste?
Like almost like a consequence to sleep, but back to back.
Yeah, because as you mentioned, he's giving this causelessly. He's giving this initial taste, like nowadays cinema industry is giving some teasers. Oh, there will be a really good, cinema film. So come over, look at these teasers, this clips, and then you developing excitement. Oh my goodness, this is really, ooh, I need to go. This is giving you taste, giving you inspiration, enthusiasm to go, to pay your price to go there and enjoy. So similarly with devotional service, he's giving this initial taste just to inspire you to get more and more mercy. Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai.
Jaya Radha Damodara Jaya Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Radha Jaya Radha Damodara Radha 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 Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Jaya Lalita Vishaka Lalita Vishaka Shri Jaya Lalita Vishaka Lalita Shaka Shri Jaya Lalita Vishaka Lalita Shaka Shri Jaya Lalita Vishaka Lalita Shaka Shri Gita Gora Sunda 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 Gora Jaya 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 Gora Sunda Sunda Gora Sunda Gora Jaya Jaya Gora Sunda 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 Gora Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya 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 Prabhupada, 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 Jaya 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 Prabhupada, 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 Jaya 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 Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Guru Dhamana, Devavasati Sarma, Shri Guru Jaya Guru Dhamana, Shri Guru Dhamana, Pata, Devavasati Sarma, Shri Guru Jaya Pata, Devavasati Sarma, Yahara Kare Bar E Baba Soria Jai Nikara Choki Chachi Krishna Jachi Hai Aruna Vacha Vidyate Moria Agya Yoga Vacha Vidyate Moria Agya Guru Charane Lakshmi Ete Dhamma Gati Guru Charane Lakshmi Ete Dhamma Gati Devatar Pune Tara Jai Jasudan, Yellow Day, Jame Janki Prabhu says, their property, property, Tema Bhaktya, Te Adi Jati Nata Jati, Jaya Haratarita, Jaya Haratarita, Adamajanara Bandhu Mashituru Sita Baba, Bravo for Joya, Jaya, Jaya 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 Prabhupada, 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 Jaya 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 Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Nama Prada Krishna Prada Gita Srimad Gita Dasa Titina Nama Prada Krishna Prada Gita Srimad Gita Dasa Titina Namaste Krishna Bhagavatam Nirvijaya Nirvana Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama Rama,